So for ideally the winding resistance is 0, you know well. Okay, so winding resistance is 0, but practically you have to consider the winding resistance. Okay, although every winding is desired to be purely inductive. Okay, ideally, so resistance 0 means is complete inductive nature. Okay, so ideal transformer resistance is 0. Am I right? The winding resistance is 0. That means it's completely inductive nature, purely inductive. Okay, but it has some resistance in it, which has causes the voltage drop. Practically, some voltage drop is there, but ideally there is no voltage drop. Okay, and loss, and all losses also so 0 under ideal conditions. In such ideal transformer model, the winding also considered ideal. That means the resistance of the winding is 0. It's clear, understood? For ideally, so we have to consider resistance of the winding is 0. Understood? And the losses also 0. So in that case, so this is the vector diagram. So first on that first point. Now, if an alternating source voltage V1 is applied to the primary winding of ideal transformer, alternating source voltage V1 is applied to the primary winding of the transformer. This is called primary winding of the transformer, and secondary winding. Alternating source voltage, that is called sinusoidal AC voltage, supplied to the primary winding of the transformer. Here, that is called V1. Okay. Now, if the alternating source voltage V1 is applied to the primary winding of that ideal transformer, there will be a counter self EMF E1 induced in the primary winding. Okay, which is purely 180 degrees in phase opposition with the supply voltages. Understood? So E1 is developed across here. So this across this called E is equal to, it is called E1. Okay, this voltage is called E1. This induced voltage is called E2. Okay, understood? So here the developing counter EMF E1 across the primary winding. Okay, there will be a counter self EMF E1 induced in the primary winding, which is purely 180 degrees in phase opposition with the supply voltage. That means exactly opposite to the supply voltage V1. Understood? So that's why, so V1 here and E1 and E2 are here. So V1 here, supply voltage exactly opposition to the E1. According to the Lenz law, effect opposes the cause. That's why this counter EMF is always opposes the V1. So 180 degrees out of phase. That's why V1 direction, so like this manner means V1 direction is so like this means so E1 is exactly lags the supply voltage by 180 degrees. Understood? This is called 180 degrees. Angle between so V1 and E1. Angle between V1 and E1 is called 180 degrees, exactly opposite to the supply voltage E1. The counter EMF is exactly opposite to the supply voltage. Understood? So now an alternating source voltage V1 is applied to the primary winding, that ideal transformer. So there will be a counter EMF, self EMF, that is called self EMF, even induced in the primary winding, which is purely 180 degrees in phase opposition with the supply voltage V1. So that is indicated in vector diagram like this manner, V1 and E1. Okay, it's clear. And then next point, for developing counter EMF E1 across primary winding, it draws current from the source to produce a required magnetizing flux. Understood? For developing counter EMF E1 across the primary winding, it is draws current from the source to produce the required magnetizing flux. Understood? So to develop here E1, okay, so to develop this amount of counter EMF, that is called E1 here, so it draws some amount of current from the supply. So that is called magnetizing current. This current is called magnetizing currents. They're generally denoted by I mu. Okay. So magnetizing current is represented by I mu. Okay. So try to consider. As the primary winding is purely inductive, you know well. Okay. That current 90 degrees lags the from the supply voltage. Am I right? Primary winding is purely inductive. For ideal transformer, so there is no resistance now. Practically, maximum inductive, but some resistance is there practically, but ideally, purely inductive. Okay, primary winding of the transformer is purely inductive. That current 90 degrees lags the supply voltage. You know well. So for inductor, current lags voltage leads. You know well. Across the inductor, current lags voltage leads. Across the capacitor, voltage lags current leads. Na? So transformer winding is acting as an inductor. So that's why the primary winding is purely inductive. That current 90 degrees lags from the supply voltage. So like this is called magnetizing current. So 90 degrees lags the supply voltage. The magnetizing current is called IMU. Understood? This is called magnetizing current. IMU. This lags the supply voltage by 90 degrees for ideally. So this is called 90 degrees. Understood? So here, so we have two main concepts are first counter EMF. First, so V1, this supply voltage V1. So the counter EMF that is called self-induced EMF E1. The self-induced EMF E1 exactly phase opposition to the V1. That's why the phase angle between V1 and E1 is exactly 180 degrees. Understood? The phase angle between supply voltage and so self-induced EMF E1 and E2. So both are same. So angle between these two is called 180 degrees. Na? So 180 degrees. Angle between V1 and E1. Supply voltage and counter EMF E1 is 180 degrees. Exactly phase opposition. So here, this is E1 means this is E2. This is E2. E1 is equal to E2 also. So because of the transformer winding is placed on a same core. Secondary winding is also placed on same core of the transformer. Okay, the magnitude is different. E1, E2 magnitudes are different. Okay, but in phase, E1 and E2 are both are in phase. Okay, and is in phase with the V2. It's across the voltage across the load. This connected load across the load. So this connected. The V2 is connected across the load. So understood. First, what we have to do? First, we have to connect the V1 to the transformer primary winding. So resistance 0. That's why the some amount of counter EMF induced here. Okay, that is called E1. Okay, to induce the some amount of counter EMF, it draws the current from the supply. That current is called magnetizing current. That is called I mu. Okay, and V1 and E1 according to Lenz's law exactly phase opposition. Effect opposes the cause. You know well, according to the Lenz's law. So that's why it is the EMF counter EMF is always exactly opposes the V1. Okay, that's why E1 is lags the V1 by 180 degrees. That's why angle between these two, V1 and E1 is 180 degrees. And then, you know well, this inductor is the transformer winding is a purely inductive. That's why the current lags the supply voltage V1 by 90 degrees. That's why the flux pi I mu, flux pi and the flux magnetizing current I mu is lags the supply voltage by 90 degrees. It's okay, understood. So this is the vector diagram of under no load condition. Okay. So this alternating current IMU produces an alternating magnetizing flux pi. Okay, the alternating current IMU produces an alternating magnetizing flux pi. Okay, which is proportional to the current and is in phase with it. Okay, that's why IMU, this is called magnetizing current IMU and the magnetizing flux pi, both are in phase. Because of why? Because means the magnetizing current, because of magnetizing current IMU, the flux is developed in the transformer primary winding and is links with the secondary winding. Understood? So this is the vector diagram of ideal transformer. As the flux also linked with the secondary winding through the core transformer. Understood? Primary winding, some flux is developed because of E1, counter EMF E1. Flux is developed in the primary winding. As the flux is also linked with the secondary winding through the core of the transformer. Understood? From the core, the flux is linked to the secondary winding from the core of the transformer. The flux is always choose the low reluctance path. You know well. So the flux is always choosing the low reluctance path. The transformer core is having very less reluctance. That's why the flux is so linking to the transformer secondary winding. So like this manner. Okay, through the core. So not through the air gap. Okay. So the flux is not linking to the air gap. That is called, if the flux is not linking to the secondary winding, that flux is called leakage flux. Okay, the flux, whatever the flux generated in primary flux, that is always linked to the secondary winding. That is flux is called useful flux. Okay, if the flux is not linked to the secondary flux, that flux is called leakage flux. As the flux also linked to the secondary winding through the core of the transformer, there will be another EMF induced E2 in the secondary winding. This is mutually induced EMF. This EMF is called mutually induced EMF. You know well. Okay, as the secondary is placed on the same core, you know well, secondary winding is also placed on same core of the transformer. Okay, this is a core of the transformer. Primary winding and secondary windings both are placed in same core of the transformer. That's why E1 and E2 are in phase. As the secondary is placed as the same core of where the primary winding is placed, the EMF induced in the secondary winding of the transformer, okay, E2 in phase with the primary EMF E1 and phase opposition with source voltage EV1. Okay, that's why E1 and E2 are, this called E1 and E2, these two are in phase with the, in phase, both E1 and E2 are in phase and phase opposition with the supply voltage V1. Okay, so this is the vector diagram of transformer. And then practical transformer, coming to the practical transformer. So practical transformer compulsory is having some winding resistance, no? Some voltage drop is also there. Okay, and that's why this practical transformer is not having 100% of efficiency. Practical transformer hasn't 100% of efficiency due to losses. Due to losses, practical transformer, due to losses, the practical transformer is not having 100% efficiency. Is it clear? Practical transformer hasn't 100% efficiency due to losses. Okay, transformer under no load condition means no load condition means, so here there is no load connected here across the secondary winding of the transformer. In between this terminal and this terminal, there is no load. Okay, so in that case, what is the current here under no load condition? What is the current? I2 is equal to 0. Am I right? Under no load condition, this current I2 is equal to 0. But no load condition means open circuit condition. Under open circuit condition, voltage here available, but current 0. The current drawn from the load, current drawn from the source is 0. Because of the load, there is no load now. That's why I2 is equal to 0. You know well, I1 and I2 are proportional. Okay, V1 I1 is equal to V2 I2 power. Okay, input power is equal to output power in transformer. V1 I1 is equal to V2 I2. So I1 is proportional to I2. So when current I2 is equal to 0, that means similarly primary current I1 is equal to 0. But practically, this is only ideal condition. So, but practically condition, the current I1 not equal to 0. That current is called no load current, I naught. Understood? It's clear? So if it is open circuited, that means there is no load. There is no load in between these two. That's why current run, the load from the supply is equal to 0. That is called I2 is equal to 0. You know the relation I1 by I2 is equal to, you know the relation I1 is proportional to I2. So then I2 is equal to 0 means I1 is equal to 0. But that is only for ideal. But practical I1 not equal to 0. So I1 is equal to I naught. That is called no load current. Okay. So to develop this some amount of flux in under no load condition, that is called nodal flux. That pi naught is called the pi naught because of no load current I naught. But ideally, the current draws from this supply is equal to 0, but practically is different. Okay. So try to consider a transformer on no load when its secondary winding is open circuit. That is called the secondary current is 0. That means I2 is equal to 0 under no load condition. Transformer is on no load means there is current drawn from the supply is equal to 0. There is no current flowing to the load. If the node, there is no load, there is no load is connected across the load. Okay. So this is the one point. And then when AC supply is applied to the primary winding, a small amount of current I naught flows through the primary winding. Understood? When AC supply is applied to the primary winding, a small amount of current I naught, okay, that is called no load current. Under no load condition, secondary side is there is no load, there is no load. So that's why secondary side current I2 is equal to 0, but primary side current I1 not equal to 0. That I1 current is become a no load current. That is called small amount of current is passing through the primary winding. Okay, when AC supply is supplied to the primary winding, a small amount of current I0 draws from the source. Okay, that is called I0 flows into the primary winding. So like this, I0 flows through the primary winding of the transformer. This I1 become I0. Okay, small amount of I0 current is flowing, passing through the primary winding under no load conditions, open circuit load conditions. Okay, understood. The current I0 is called no load current. Okay, of the transformer. The current I0, small I0 is called no load current of the transformer. It is made up with two components, IMU and IW. So IMU is nothing but magnetizing current. Magnetizing current. So you know well, so IMU because of magnetizing flux to develop the counter EMF E1. Okay, here some amount of current draws from the supply, that is called IMU, magnetizing current, per purely inductive. But practically some amount of resistance, the winding is having some amount of resistance. Because of that resistance, so the current is called IW, that is called wattful component. IMU is called magnetizing component, IW is called wattful component. The current I0 is called no load current of the transformer. It is made up of with two components, IMU and IW. That is called magnetizing current and wattful component. This magnetizing component because of inductive winding, and the wattful component because of winding resistance. Okay, so this is called wattless component. IMU is called wattless component. IW is called wattful component, useful component. Okay, so because of transformer winding, the IW current draws the current from the supply IW. Because of inductance, it draws the current from the supply, that is called IMU. Okay, the component IMU is called magnetizing component, and it's magnetize the core. You know well, this is called IMU. This is called magnetizing current. It's magnetizing the core of the transformer. Okay, and it is in phase with the pi m. You know well. Okay, here IMU is in phase with the flux pi n. So pi m. You know well. The component IMU is called magnetizing component, and is in magnetizing core. Okay, magnetize the core, and it is in phase with pi m. So like this. So IMU in phase with pi m, here pi m. Okay, and it is also called as a reactive component or wattless component or of no load current. Understood? IMU is also called as a magnetizing component. Okay, it magnetizes the core, and it's in phase with the pi m. So in phase with the pi m. So like yeah, so pi m is flux here. Pi naught means power factor angle, no load power factor angle. This is called pi m. So magnetizing flux. Okay, in phase with the magnetic flux. That means the magnetizing component IMU and magnetizing fluxes pi m both are in phase. Okay, so same as ideal transformer. This flux pi and IMU both are in phase. Okay, practically also magnetizing component and magnetizing flux IM both are in phase. But wattful component, another component is called wattful component. This wattful component because of the winding of the resistance. Okay, winding resistance. Across the resistor, voltage and currents are in phase. You know well. Across the resistor, okay, because of winding resistance, the wattful component coming to picture. So this wattful component IW in phase with the supply voltage, because this is because of resistance, winding resistance of the transformer. That's why this V1 and IMU are both are in phase. Okay, IMU pi m are in phase here. Okay, V1 and IW, that is called wattful component. This is a wattful component because of resistance of the winding. So that's why this wattful component in phase with the supply voltage. Okay, another component is IMU It is called active component or working component or wattful component and is in phase with the supply voltage like this. Okay. So the resultant of the I mu and IW is called I naught. The current I naught is called no load current of the transformer. It is made up of with two components I mu IW. Am I right? So that means I naught is a resultant of these two, I mu and IW. So that's why. So here I mu, here IW. Here magnetic current I mu and the resultant of these two current is called I naught. That is called no load current I naught. Resultant of these two. And this is called resultant of angle between supply voltage and no load current is called power factor angle. That is called no load power factor of the transformer. Cos pi naught is called no load power factor of the transformer. Understood? Here pi naught is called no load power factor angle. No load power factor angle. Pi naught is called no load power factor angle. Under no load condition, the current transformer draws the current I naught. Under no load condition, transformer draws the current I naught. This is called I naught. Understood? Under no load condition means open circuit condition. So under open circuit condition, the current drawn from the supply I2 is equal to 0. Under no load condition, this I2 is equal to 0. That's why the current I2 is equal to 0. Understood? So I2 is equal to 0 means so only this I naught is components of IW and I mu, that is called a magnetizing component and wattful components. And the resultant angle between V1 and I naught is called pi naught. This pi naught is called no load power factor angle. Okay, this is called practical transformer under no load vector diagram. Okay, understood. This is called primary winding and secondary winding. Okay, this is called no load current I naught is a combination of IW and I mu. It's a wattful component, it's wattless component. Okay, active component or reactive component, active component, and the resultant of these two current is called I naught. This is because of magnetizing flux. This is because of transformer winding resistance. Okay, the resultant of these two current is called I naught, and the angle between V1 and I naught is called pi naught. The pi naught is called no load power factor angle of transformer, and then power factor of the under no load condition transformer cos pi naught. Cos pi naught is called power factor of the transformer under no load condition. So this angle approximately so above 60 degrees, that may be 70 or 80. That's why the power factor of the transformer under no load condition 0.2 to 0.3 below 0.5. Okay, power factor of the transformer under no load condition below 0.5 only. Okay, so above 60 degrees, this angle between voltage V1 and I1 naught. So above 60 degrees, that may be 70 or 80, 90. Okay, so when angle is increases means the power factor decreasing. So lagging, current lags the voltage by some angle, that is called power factor angle. That's why the transformer is called generally it's a inductive load. That's why current lags the voltage by some angle pi naught. Okay, this is called a practical transformer under no load vector diagram. Okay, no load current is small in the order of 3 to 5%. You know well, no load current is very, very small. Under no load condition, actually the ideally 0, but practically it's lost amount of current from the source. That current is called no load current. The no load current is small of the transformer, the order of 3 to 5%. For example, uh, very, very less. 5% means 0.05% of rated full load current. Okay, very, very less current draws from the supply. Okay, so when no load current is small, under an order of 3 to 5% of the rated full load, rated current and primary winding. Okay, so for example, 5 amps current draws from the supply. 5 amps, that means 5% of 5 amps. Okay, so maybe 0.25. So less amount of current draws from the supply now. Okay, 5 amps. So primary current is very high, but under no load condition, the current draws from the supply is very less compared to full load. Okay, consider the transformer under no load. Take pi m as a reference phasor. Okay, if pi m as a reference phasor, then at no load, so we know well pi is equal to pi m sin omega t. So you know well sinusoidal waveform pi is equal to pi m sin omega t. So you know well E1 selects the so E1 m by 90 degrees now. E1 is equal to E1 m Sine omega t minus 90 degrees. Okay, E2 same, E2m sine omega t minus pi by 2. Okay, since E1 and E2 are induced removed by the flux pi. Okay, E1, E2, E2 are induced removed by the flux pi, and they will be in phase opposition with each other. Okay, E2 differs from the magnitude E1. Okay, practically it differs, but ideally E1 and E2 are both the same, but practically it differs because of E2 is equal to E1. Okay, E2 and E1 are lagged behind the flux by 90 degrees, you know well. Okay, so E2 and E1 are lag the flux by, this is called flux by m. It's lag the flux by 90 degrees. That's why we get in this one. Okay, then if the voltage drop in the primary winding are neglected, E1 winding are neglected, E1 will be equal and opposite to that of the supply voltage V1. E1, you know well, exactly opposite to that of the V1 from the vector diagram, you know well. And IMU is the in phase with pi, and IW in phase with V1 from the vector diagram. IMU in phase with pi m, and IW in phase with V1. Okay, it's clear. The phasor sum of IMU and IW is called I naught. Then pi naught is called no load power factor angle. I'm already explained this concept. So that power factor of the no load is called cos pi naught. You know well, no load power factor is called cos pi naught. And then IW is equal to, this is called watt full component. So IW is called watt full component. That's why I naught cos pi naught. You know well, watt full components. Power is equal to VI cos pi. That is called active power, watt full power. Power is equal to VI cos pi. That's why IW is equal to I naught cos pi naught. So IW, so how to find IW? This is called I naught cos pi naught. This is component is called I naught cos pi naught IW. And IMU, you know well, IMU, how to find IMU? By taking sine. IMU is nothing but this is the length. This length, IMU. So how to find IMU? By using sine component, that's called sine naught, sine pi naught. IMU is equal to I naught sine pi naught. Then resultant of these two is called I naught. No? Then I naught is equal to root of IMU square plus IW square. That is called IW square plus IMU square. That is called watt full component square plus magnetizing component square. Then cos pi naught from this diagram. Okay, watt full component by reactive component. Cos pi naught is called IW by I naught. Also core loss is called core loss. Core loss is because of transformer core. Okay, core loss in the transformer because of transformer core. That is called V1 I naught cos pi naught. Okay, so V1 IW cos, so this is called core loss under no load condition. So because of core, so some amount of losses are there. That is called V1 IW. This is called core loss. Then the magnetizing volt ampere is nothing but V1 sin pi naught. Okay, that is called VAR, reactive component. Magnetizing component is nothing but reactive component. Reactive power units are VAR, na? VAR, VAR, reactive power. So this is called reactive component. This is called watt full component. That's why units are watts. Here, reactive component. That's why VAR, reactive component. So V1 IMU. Okay. So these are the different type of points on the transformer on no load, on load. So transformer on loaded conditions. When an electrical load is connected to the secondary winding of a transformer, a current flows in the secondary winding. Understood? If you are connecting the load, so like this manner. So what happens? Compulsory to meet this load demand. For example, fan, your fan is connected. For example, fan. One load is nothing but fan. If a fan is connected means compulsory to run the fan, it's taking the sum of power from the supply. No? So that means it draw the current from the supply. So that is called I2. Understood? When an electrical load is connected to the secondary winding of a transformer, a current flows in the secondary winding. That is called I2. Under no load condition, I2 is equal to 0. Under loaded condition, I2 not equal to 0. when an electrical load is connected to the secondary winding of transformer, a current flows in the secondary winding that is called current I2. This secondary current is due to the induced secondary voltage that is set up by the magnetic flux created in the transformer core from the primary current. Okay, understood this point. The secondary current is due to the induced secondary voltage that is set up by the magnetic flux created in the core from the primary current. Understood. This primary secondary current I2 is induced because of the setup in the flux in the transformer core. This flux because of primary winding of the transformer current I1. Okay, this I2 is increased. Okay, so I2 is increased because of the flux in the transformer core is linking with the secondary winding. The flux in the transformer core is because of primary winding. That's why. So when I2 is increases, this primary current also increases. Understood? This secondary current is due to the induced secondary voltage that is set up by the magnetic flux created in the core from the primary current. It's clear. The secondary current I2, which is determined by the characteristics of the load. This is secondary current creates a self-induced secondary magnetic flux, magnetic field pi2 in the transformer core, which flows the exact opposite direction to the main primary flux that is called pi1. Understood? Try to consider here. Because of this current, some amount of EMF induced in this E2. This is E2 exactly opposite to the primary flux pi1. Okay. For example, the primary flux in the transformer is called so in this clockwise direction. So this flux because of this called pi1 is in the clockwise directions. Okay. So this is the flux direction because of the primary winding. Okay. And the flux direction pi2 because of this load. So in this anti-clockwise direction. Okay. Anti-clockwise direction. So this is called the flux direction because of primary winding. So in this direction of the flux in this. So this is called pi1. And because of load, so the some amount of EMF is induced because of that some amount of flux is developed that is called pi2. It opposite of the primary flux. Opposite, exactly opposite. Okay, this is called pi2. Okay. So primary flux according to the transformer action. Then only the transformer is working. With the pi2 was exactly opposite to the primary flux, then only the transformer is working. Otherwise, transformer is not working. Okay, that means that the resultant flux is called the resultant flux is called pi r. Is a resultant is a so differences of between these two, pi1 and pi2. Okay, this is called resultant flux. This resultant flux is always constant. Okay, if the pi2 is increasing because of load increasing, the load is increasing means current I2 is increasing. So if the current I2 is increasing means E2 is increasing. So E2 is increasing means flux pi2 is increasing. Okay. So this flux pi2 is opposed by the flux pi1. So that's why the flux pi1 is also increasing. Because of current drawn from the secondary side is increases. I2 is increasing means primary current is also I1 is increasing. So when I1 is increasing, flux pi1 is increasing. Both are interlinking each other. If the flux pi2 is increasing, flux pi1 is also increasing. Okay, pi2 decreasing and pi1 is decreasing. So that's why the resultant flux is always constant in the transformer. That's why the transformer is called a constant flux device. It's always operating with constant flux, only one value of the flux, but alternating. Okay, alternating flux, but constant flux. That's why the transformer is called as a constant flux device. It's clear. Understood. So all of you read this, so can easily understand the concept. This is called a no load diagram of the transformer under no load open circuit condition. Okay. So all of you rejoin again.